A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... He landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
This is the Daredevil series from Legacy Pocono Raceway, only on Turn 200.
Well, good evening, everybody. We are kind of live here from the Pocono Raceway, the Legacy version, for round number 8 of the 5th season of the Daredevil series. We had a big update today for iRacing. For whatever reason, it decided that it needed to throw a wrench in the beginning of this broadcast. So until the issue kind of gets sorted out here, we are going to do a radio-style broadcast, and hopefully Matt Williamson is here. He's working on sorting out the issue right now. So for those of you that were curious why we were a little bit late today, that would be why. But we've got drivers out on the starting grid as we speak right now. Qualifying is over. There are 24 drivers that will get to it here tonight at the Legacy Pocono Raceway. Brody Gunter has the pole position. He was the very last driver to set a time with less than 30 seconds left in qualifying. He will take the top time here with a 48.443 second lap. Dakota DeMade, last week's big winner at Iowa Speedway. He will start on the outside pole. Row number 2 will be Christopher Hill, who has won here at Pocono before in season number 2. He starts from the 3rd spot. Joshua Rutherford with a great qualifying effort. He is always one to watch on these big tracks. He will start from spot number 4. The current series points leader, the season 3 champion James Watson, will start from the 5th position. Ryan Dye made his very first Daredevil start here back in season number 3. He will start from the 6th position back in the field here tonight in number 200. Row number 4 is Matt Wagner, your Indianapolis and Talladega winner from the Daredevil Series races past. He starts in 7th. Drew White will line up to his outside, the Oval Master here at the Triangle tonight, starting in 8th. Christopher Kresge and Paul Ellison, 2 drivers that love these big, fast tracks, and Paul Ellison's finishes of late have been very, very good. He's in the top 10 of the point standings. He will start in 10th next to the Patriarch on row number 5. Victor Aldrich and TJ Crampton will line up on the 6th row. On row number 7, it will be Sean Begley on the inside and Matt Schlosser on the outside. Nate Siefker, the Season 1 Pocono winner, will start way back in 15th. Next to Corey Rutherford, who was awfully fast in practice, he will line up in the 16th starting spot. Martin Camano back in spot number 17 next to Cody Claiborne in 18th. Ashton Crowder won the Season 4 recruitment race here. Will start back in 19th. Zach Flaum will line up to his outside in 20th. He came oh so close to victory here back in season number 3. On row number 11 on the inside, it's Ken Estep, and to his outside from the Scottish Highlands, it's Austin Lafferty in 22nd. Back row, no qualifying times for them. Matt Johnston and Christian Arribas are the 2 drivers who will round out this field here tonight. Track conditions tonight, it is pretty cool and cloudy. 68 degrees ambient temperature, 82 degrees. On the track temperature, this is a 60-lap race. And look for these drivers to try and split this down the middle if they can. Caution flags will be a thing that will aid the drivers who can survive the big crashes here tonight at the Tricky Triangle. And they call it the Tricky Triangle for a reason. This is a race often with a lot of attrition. And no doubt there will be plenty to go around here tonight. All 24 drivers are on the starting grid, and they are exiting the 3rd and final turn here at Pocono, approaching the green flag. Brody Gunter and Dakota DeMade lead the field to the stripe here at Pocono. And they are 4 wide already as Matt Wagner now going to go backwards. It's Brody Gunter who will lead the field here into turn number 1. They're side by side for second behind them. Christopher Hill on the inside, Dakota DeMade on the outside. Oh, and already problems. Crash! Cody Claiborne and Corey Rutherford have hit the wall in turn number 1, and that will bring out the first caution of the night. Claiborne with significant and unfixable damage on that car. Multiple tires have dislodged from the various posts on that 31 car. Corey Rutherford is still riding around, but will have a lot of damage on his number 5 machine. That is caution number 1 in just 1 turn, but those are the only 2 drivers that were involved in the accident. I'm going to back this up and look at this the old-fashioned way. As Rutherford was rocketing around the outside, there was a little bit of actual contact between those 2 that put Rutherford into the wall, and Rutherford still kept going ahead, bounced off the wall, and managed to net code contact with Claiborne after that. And that is what set that really in motion. Otherwise, it would have just been Rutherford hitting the wall. But Corey has quite a bit of damage to his car here as well. Now getting a good look at it. The front wing on the left side of the car is gone. And it looks like there may be some toe damage as well. So Rutherford will have some repairs to make, but maybe not many. I'm not sure. I don't think they do full wing swaps in the Lotus 79. And, of course, there are no fast repairs here in the Daredevil series. So as we're pacing under the caution here, we'll welcome in Matt Williamson. I know you haven't really got to see any of this race yet, but you had the opportunity and the privilege to watch the RAL Daredevil series by yourself here in season 1, in our very first season as a broadcasting duo. That was a good time.
Yeah, it certainly was. That was a great race. As we're going to have the stream coming up here in just a second, or the live feed, I should say. Will be here in just a moment. And in fact, here it is. We'll get some cameras rolling there for you. But I mean, in that race, and we kind of talked about it before the race started, turn number 1, that is really where most of the problems kind of arise here. For the drivers, and in 2 different ways. It's a corner, especially on starts and restarts, where there's lots of lanes available for the drivers, so everybody's trying to dart every which way, and sometimes they just come together. But on the back half of a run, when the right rear starts to get warm, that is typically the corner that we see self-spins as well. So twofold problems in turn number 1. And sounds like we've had some issues already.
We certainly have, and I know you won't be able to take a replay of them, as you've kind of had to bounce in and out of the session here to figure out whatever was going on. But appreciate everybody's patience in having us fix that, as Joshua Rutherford is, I think, commenting on multiple accounts here, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe, maybe not. But Don Golden is here hanging out with us. Appreciate that. Ashton Crowder is here as well. And bit by the old running gag. Hate to see it. But, yeah, we are just a couple laps in here. Actually working lap number 3, coming to lap number 4. The big quirk of the night, since this is a big 2+ mile oval, it'll be the appearance of just the 3rd time I believe we've seen double file restarts.
Yeah, and the addition of double file restarts just exacerbates the problem here into turn number 1 as well. So we're going to get probably more of the same as we continue on here tonight, should we get some more restarts. But I mean, this has kind of always been a survival race. I mean, going back to that first one, and we've seen we had a recruitment race here last season as well. I mean, you gotta survive, and that's almost always the case in the Daredevil series. But here in particular, we've seen many incidents take out lots of cars here. I think Drew White spinning like a top comes to mind for one of those. That incident took out quite a few, but many of the incidents here take out quite a lot of drivers, and it's just the high speeds here at Pocono. In this car, it's nearly impossible to get slowed down to avoid incident.
Well, we've got the point standings. I don't think we have enough time to go through them here, so we'll wait for another caution to take a look at them. But quite the interesting development after Iowa Speedway. And the big win for Dakota DeMade, who started on the outside pole. Looks like Brady Gunter is elected the inside here for this restart. So he needs a rally in a big way, as he was the first driver out last week at Iowa after taking over the points lead after Indianapolis. James Watson now has sort of found himself back as the points leader. And these are some important weeks for him coming up to try and separate himself. Christopher Hill's run part-time this season. Dakota DeMade is getting ready to miss a race next week at Spa. So, I mean, this is big time here for Watson tonight to not only just finish, but finish decently. Like top 8 really are where the points are in the Daredevil series. So it's an important night for driver number 39 here tonight. He restarts from the 5th position. As we'll get back underway, Brady Gunter has control of this restart, and we're back to it. Big run here for Joshua Rutherford, but he will not take it anywhere. Tucks in right behind Dakota DeMade.
Big grouping just inside the top 10. Drew White decides to go to the outside to try and get a little bit of clean air and get a run. Might take a look to the inside of Ellison here.
That is for spot number 7, is for the lead. Here's a big lunge to the inside for Dakota DeMade. The Cornfield Kid will move himself up to P1. But Gunter is right here. He'll be able to do a little shake and bake. So will Joshua Rutherford. He has a huge run headed towards the tunnel turn, but again, he rolls out of it. Stacks up Watson and then Hill and then Kresge. Kresge finds himself now under attack from Drew White, who will pick up maybe 2 spots here, as Ellison had to check up as well. Oh boy,
Whoa.
That was very close. DeMade leads him across the line. Big run here for White and Kresge. Now working together after almost junking it. They're in turn number 3.
White tried to
up high.
tried to dive all the way down below Gunter, but Gunter was able to cover it off.
Huge runs coming from further back here.
We know Drew White is the oval master, but is he also the triangle master?
Joshua rolls out of
look
it.
at this.
Here's Drew now with a surge down the short chute. We'll take second and we'll take the lead. Drew White won't lead it at the line. It'll be DeMade. Now here's Kresge. Gunter rolls out of a 3-wide situation only to find himself back in the middle.
These
Fanned
drivers,
out like the face of a die.
they are
on
getting
number
after
5.
it. Oh my goodness. Everybody is taking every run possible right now. Nobody is backing down.
The one driver who did back down on the initial start was Matt Wagner. I don't think he's probably regretting it at this point, taking a look at everything that's happening at the front.
I mean, this is a recipe to have a right rear hot self-spin down into turn 1 for somebody.
Certainly. And this would be the big oval to do it. It always happens. There's a big run for Martin Camano. He's now in the top 10 once again as White will retake the lead into turn number 1. And Kresge now challenging maybe for second. We'll pull back in the line.
Man, look at everybody darting every which way here. DeMade looking for the lead again.
You and I were talking about it earlier. DeMade missing next week. Needs a big win here tonight. Literally.
Well, remember
Stay on the hunt.
the last time DeMade got a win, he actually got 2 of them. He's looking to do it again here this week.
White leads it for the first time tonight across the line. As now Christopher Kresge will go for it.
Camano with a big run as well.
Camano with a big run in. Christopher Hill with a huge surge there into turn number 1 as well.
Drivers have to be loving this set. It's been a while since we've seen passing like this.
I think they're probably pretty nervous right now, including Watson, who's on the top side of 3 wide. The Schlosser's trying to find his way through. Camano is right there.
Whoa.
Oh, boy.
Camano, Schlosser, Watson still 3 wide all the way through turn 3.
Oh, boy. Catch your breath, James Watson, as Kresge leads him across the line this time. Purple lap for Nate Seifert. Big surge here. Once again for Camano, who's right on the left side tires of the 31, or rather the 101. Camano up into the front wing of Christopher Hill, and that could have been an absolute disaster.
Oh, problems farther back. Wagner's in the wall.
Wagner and Johnston with a collision there. Caution is out, and that was Wagner trying to play it safe at the back of the field, and that is maybe going to be race over for him.
I think a wheel came untethered, and I think that will probably certainly be the end of the night for Wagner. As you mentioned, was trying to just stay in the back of the field and kind of mind his own business. He knew, or at least was assuming, a big incident was coming at some point. But unfortunately, the incident comes out for him.
Well, he had just said something over the radio, and I didn't quite catch it, but I mean, it looked like he was slowing down like pretty considerably before the contact there with the 404. So I'm not 100% sure what just happened there.
Yeah, and you're right. Out of turn one, Wagner slows down big time, and Johnston just really doesn't have that much time to react. Just barely clips him as he's trying to go to the inside. And we'll back it up and go to Wagner's point of view as well. See if maybe we can listen for something, or see if there's, I don't know, a disconnect maybe. I'm not entirely sure here.
So what I think he said over the radio is we're going to try and slingshot, which means that they're going to swap the lead car in that rotation basically so they can keep their momentum up. And maybe Johnston didn't realize what was happening, or Matt Wagner did it in a spot that he wasn't expecting. But either way, that's a disastrous result.
For a slingshot, I think Wagner slowed down way too much if that's what he was going for. But let's take a look. They did swap places down into one. Yeah, he just gets all the way off the throttle out of one. I mean, getting off the throttle that much is going to leave you far behind in this car, so not quite sure. But the huge run for Wagner in Iowa is not going to materialize here at Pocono. As everybody is down pit road.
Yep, literally every single driver came down this time. There were no holdouts. Christopher Kresge entered P1 and will leave P1. Now we have an opportunity, and we've already touched on the storylines here a little bit, but why don't we take a look at the point standings now?
Here's that look at the points, and Tommy brought it up a little bit earlier. Dakota DeMade is now in second, only 345 points behind James Watson, and has looked awfully good here tonight so far. But if you've been around the Daredevil series for very long, you know how south things can go quickly here at Pocono. So certainly lots to be done yet here for DeMade, but he's going to have a great night because he is missing next week at Spa. So he's going to have to either get a win, a second, or maybe a podium would be okay, and then Hope Watson maybe has a poor night. But it's going to be difficult for DeMade to still be able to win this championship, missing a week in between probably. But Christopher Hill sits there in third, and of course he is up here towards the front of the field as well. Always good here. Actually a former winner here at Pocono, I do believe. So his chances are looking good. Brody Gunter sits there in fourth. Martin Camanio fifth. Matt Schlosser, Nicholas Isidro, Victor Aldrich, TJ Crampton, and Paul Ellison round out your top 10. But 5 drivers all within the reach of the lead right now, and Schlosser is not far behind either. So still lots of scenarios that could play out here with 3 rounds, including this one, left in the season.
Realistically, you need to be within 2,000. Well, I mean, not realistically. Mathematically, you need to be within 2,000 points of the lead out of tonight to have a shot at it. No drop weeks with only a 10-week season. But mathematically and realistically are way different. I mean, of course, you would like to be within 1,000 points, but I'd say even 1,500 out of tonight, about where Victor Aldrich there is in P8. Have some kind of chance with Spa next week in Gateway to close out the season. Yeah, you've got to survive Pocono here as well. That's 3 tracks, I will say, that play right into the hand of 101 and Christopher Hill. Of course, a winner here, stout on the road courses. And Gateway, I'm not 100% sure how well he ran at Gateway, or how well he finished, but I believe he was in the top 5 And now that I'm thinking about it, I think he got taken out in the final caution running inside the top 5. So he was running well in Gateway way back in Season 2, which was an absolute banger of a race. Can't wait for that here in a couple of weeks. And Spa will be very interesting next week. But yeah, you got to make it through here tonight. We're about to be 15 laps into a 60-lap race. And it's only going to get crazier from here. 2 cautions, both involving 2 cars. And only 2 cars out of this race. Cody Claiborne and Matt Wagner. Christopher Kresge electing the inside as control of the restart. Lap 15 is up on the board. Drew White wanted the bottom there. Will duck to the middle. But Gunter is here. As White working the top side will take the lead. Kresge trying to fend off Gunter here for second.
White trying to throw Daytona Super Speedway, blocks down the stretch between turns 1 and 2.
Wants to get linked up here with Christopher Kresge, I'd imagine. Watch for a big run here for Gunter. White up to defend. Bump drafting for our bravest and most skilled drivers is on the table tonight. We'll see how long it takes for that to get employed. Kresge back to the point. And now here's White to cross him over.
I would not be bump drafting this early on, but once we get farther into the race, I would assume it's happening.
Little 3-wide action. Broken up and a little bit of contact there. Boy, that could have been an absolute mess. I believe that was Schlosser and Flaum. As Schlosser continuing to march his way forward here. Side by side with Dakota DeMade. As we're nearly 3 wide for the lead. Kresge has it at the line. There's Camano trying to sneak back down to the bottom, further back. And he keeps making those huge lunges, and I think James has seen enough. He will roll out of it.
White and Kresge side by side, heading down into turn number 2. Will Kresge be able to clear? The answer's no.
Haven't seen the big one yet, but sure it's coming. You are dead on there, Don. And Garrett Rainey is rooting for chaos here tonight. I'm sure he's also rooting for Paul Ellison. Ellison right now in the top 10. Kresge all the way down to the paint there on the inside. Leads him back across the line. But he'll have to find his way back up here, as here is TJ Crampton for the first time tonight into the mix.
Might be Kresge's way of making sure he gets the bottom down in turn number 1. We've seen many drivers try and dive down to take that real estate away.
White moves to the bottom. Schlosser to the bottom. Kresge.
Speaking of a dive.
Oh boy, almost puts White down in the grass.
Here comes Camano, a dive into turn number 3.
Camano is sending every single run. Camano needs a big points night. He also needs to make it to the end of this race as White leads him now back across the line. Kresge crossover. 3 wide for third.
Schlosser in the mix with a little bit of help from TJ Crampton there as well. Schlosser up to P3.
Schlosser with a slider on Gunther. Big crossover for White. Kresge single block down to defend. Now Schlosser to the outside of the 15. Here's a run for Camano.
Camano didn't quite get there to stuff it under the 15. And Kresge protecting that bottom again.
This is an unrelenting pace. There's no way we're going to make it much further, as that was a huge wiggle there for Camano. He's able to reel it back in, down onto the bottom.
I think Drew White is starting to push Christopher Kresge. Look at that. They are attached.
They are bump drafting, and that is sketchy.
Oh, Kresge!
Especially when Kresge starts blinking. Oh, Lord. Oh, sweet Jesus.
That is not what you want to see when you're tucked under the wing of the leader
No.
right there.
White's got a big run. He'll take it to the middle this time. That's Commando now to his outside. Oh, boy. That was net code range. That could all go wrong very quickly, and that would be everybody's problem.
You said it best, an unrelenting pace, and it has not let up here. A third of the way through this one.
21 of 60 on the board this time. White and Kresge flip-flopping the lead back and forth as Commando here goes. Schlosser to the top side.
White finally got himself underneath of Kresge. That is what he has wanted for the better part of 5 laps here. Kresge nearly into the wall.
And that did put Schlosser into the wall, not with contact, but I think just a sudden, surprising move there from the 777. That's how he reacted. Schlosser's still in the mix, though.
Kresge back underneath of White with help from Brody Gunter now.
Gunter, the pole sitter, back into the fray. There's Charles Grove in the chat. Hello, welcome back. Great to see you. Yeah. This is the wild one here. That's for sure.
Take a look at this view. We're on board with Martin Commando. He's been taking huge stabs at runs here. Look at Zach Flaum now inside the top 5.
Flaum hanging around. He nearly won here in Season 3.
And here I'm having to lift just a bit there through turn number 3. Wow, from all the way up at the wall down all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, he wants out. And he'll get out. I'm starting to see a little bit of bobbing into turn number 1, and that can only mean one thing. This right rear tire is probably getting a little bit angry here. Brian Dye into the top 10 for the first time tonight, so is Ashton Crowder.
Had lots of lead swapping with many different players there in the first run, but Kresge and White have been able to control the field here for this second run.
They've got to be having a blast swapping the lead amongst themselves, but here's a big run from Commando and a bigger run from Schlosser. And Schlosser trying to clear himself down and put himself in rotation for the lead. Not going to happen, but he's here side by side with the 777.
Schlosser has been loving that top side. You just lose so much time now on the top side on entry. It's so much farther around the racetrack, but you get a great run off the top side out of the corner.
I believe everybody will still have to make a pit stop. There's no way it happens under green.
Here's Commando.
Finally will time it out to where he will drop in front of the 777. There's Matt Johnston with a big run now as well. Johnston fighting for a spot in the top 5. Just as quickly as Commando got the lead, he's now back to 4th. And it's Kresge and White once again duking it out. Death and Taxes and the 777 and the 15 going at it here at Pocono. That was Drew into the paint down there to defend.
Somebody we talked about really early on who has now dropped all the way to the back of the field is Dakota DeMade. All the way back at 19th now. He wants no part of this front pack.
I think, oh boy, maybe reading the tea leaves as that was awfully close there with Gunter and Schlosser. Schlosser gets clear. Absolutely mesmerizing. Camano back up top.
This is a feeling I haven't had in Daredevil for a while.
Anxious?
Very.
Genuinely?
Whoa, Camano nearly up into the wall.
Wow. And the 404 nearly loses it out of turn number 1. And would have taken Gunter with him as well.
No, there it is.
There we go.
Schlosser, Crampton, right in front of the field.
Oh, Watson take it out. Watson involved, not sure how badly damaged, but that takes out a huge chunk of the field.
Crowder
Crampton.
upside down.
Yeah, Crampton, Ellison, Schlosser, Camano, Gunter, Dye, Crowder, Hill, Johnston, Watson, Lafferty, Rutherford, Begley, DeMade, Zach Flaub. Yikes. That was almost the whole field.
I mean, that was inevitable.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly was.
Everybody just absolutely going for it. And that one, I mean, that one was developing the entire way down the Long Pond Straight.
Let's be clear. It's been developing since we took the restart on lap 15.
Yeah, but there was a lot of bobbing and weaving the entire way down that straight. Let's see if we can get a decent look at it. Let's just go ahead and back it all the way up into turn 1. We got White and Kresge, who have been battling this entire time for the lead. And then, Camano on the top side, who had the lead at one point. Camano nearly puts himself on the wall off of 2. Has to check up just a bit. He's got Crampton here behind him now. Camano trying to find his way up in between Kresge and White, it looked like. The hole closes. And then he backs way off the throttle and has to check up. He kind of checks Crampton up, and I don't think Ellison saw it coming. Ellison gets into the right rear of Crampton here. And Crampton's going to go straight across the racetrack into Schlosser. See if we can find a good wide shot here. There's one. Down into Schlosser. Both of them going to come back up across the racetrack. And there is absolutely nowhere for anybody to go. You see Crowder, a hell of a ride there up into the wall. The entire car disintegrates. There's Begley, a hard shot into Crampton. Nate Siefker looks like he's able to skate through. Dakota DeMade goes down onto the access road to make sure he stays out of it, so he should be clean. But there are about 12 cars with heavy damage here. Back it up one more time. We'll see if we can find somebody with a decent view. I might go to Crowder, just because we love the upside down shots, don't we? Here it is, through one. Crowder's gonna see it develop in front of him. And Crowder left hanging from his buckles. So everybody's going to come down pit road this time, except for Corey Rutherford, who, remember, had damage early on here. But what that does mean is I think everybody should now be able to make it to the end on fuel, except for Rutherford.
Yeah, everybody should be good to go here. We have lost Matt Schlosser, Ashton Crowder, and Ryan Dime. Believe it or not, those are the only 3 to disconnect so far. Weird situation with Drew White. Not 100% sure what happened. He made the commitment line out of pit road, but the sim gave him a penalty. But it also does not show me that he got a penalty. So he had to drop to the tail end of the line here. And I'm not 100% sure why. And he's not really on the... Oh, hang on just a second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's in the middle of the field. I understand what you're saying.
Well, I had somebody request an EOL for damage, so that's one that we allow. So we'll see what Corey Rutherford could do here with some damage to that 5 machine. And now Christopher Kresge with his most battle-hardened foe further back in line here. Green flag is back out. We're underway here on lap 31. Oh, boy. That was close quarters there with Flaum, White, and Ellison. Paul will roll out of it. As for the lead, here goes Kresge. Back to it.
Curious to see how Corey is going to fare. I know he had some damage earlier on. Whoa! Big stack up there on the bottom. That was close.
That's Camanio once again. He's having these huge runs. As speaking of a huge run, here's Drew White back into the fold.
You see Camanio wiggle his way up the racetrack to go help the 15 on the top side.
Here's Matt Johnston looking for the lead. He's got it.
Whoa, look at this crossover.
We are riding on the edge. Is Drew White now going to drop to the bottom, taking him 3 wide for the lead?
Nobody's backing down. Johnston did. Probably smart there.
Yes. Drew White did exactly what he said he was going to do and march his way back right up through the field to the point. Oh, huge run. Look at this. Camanio going for it once more. Oh, Corey Rutherford taking him 4 wide for the lead. White prevails. Somebody get Kresge a heart rate monitor.
White there in the middle. He's able to take a shorter way around than Rutherford, but still have lots of momentum off the corner. Able to get himself out front. He's going to be taking notes for later on in this one. And everybody else should as well.
Camanio will be eyeing another big run, so will Matt Johnston.
Wow, look at them all snaking down, trying to get the inside line from each other.
There's White down to the grass. Kresge forced to go high. Zach Flaum now with a bit of a look. Oh, Lord. These two are going at it.
Kresge gets underneath of White and clears through 3.
I don't know what it is about these two in particular, but they have been going nuts up here all race. Matt Johnston into the fold once more to the top side. He will power ahead into turn number 1.
There's a couple more we could throw in there, but that would be a heck of a schedule.
Monza?
Indeed.
Luke's all-pack racing for Season 6 as White muscles his way underneath with exactly a car width to the 777.
It's really interesting seeing all the little tricks these guys are doing, trying to get that inside line.
Who is laying back and studying, though? That's the question, as these two are hamming it up front. Christopher Hill is lingering.
Oh, look
Could
at
have
this.
made-
Forward.
oh, boy.
Oh, Chris gets
Oh.
the racetrack.
That was almost another disaster. Oh, Lord.
I tell you who has gone way to the back. That is Dakota DeMade once again.
Yes. James Watson's back there as well, but remember, Watson picked up damage in that crash. Actually had a meatball flag. It's already cleared, and he's still in the lead lap.
Wow, Johnston way up by the wall on entry into 3.
Crazy stuff. That's a huge run there for Nate Siefker, who now finds himself into the mix. 3 wide again for the lead. Kresge right down onto the right side tires of Drew White.
Whoa! Christopher Hill nearly came up in the Johnston there.
So many zigs and zags. It's not going to take much to set this off once again.
Oh, Camano! Wow, nearly got up to the wall there through 2. And now Hill's found himself in a podium position. Hill back up to the front.
Christopher Hill, it could be a big night for him to pick up what would be a 3rd win on the season. Put himself in the points lead.
Indeed, Camano is racing like he is loco. He's giving it everything he's got.
Certainly. Whoa! That was almost bad. Johnson with a big closing right there. Kresge's getting ganged up on now. He might be out of the rotation here for a minute.
Paul Ellison's trying to squeeze his way up into the line as well. We are 4 wide back there.
4 wide, 3 wide, and Drew White in front of it.
No,
Oh,
here we
no.
go, Kresge!
Oh, boy. Kresge, Johnston, Ellison, Camano, Gunter, Ken Estep also involved, and that is another caution and another big chunk of tonight's contenders, Christopher Kresge.
Gunter Ellison as well. Indeed, these have been some wicked incidents. Well, that's what you get here around Pocono. We are quite used to it for the 2 of us here at this point. Let's take a look. I mean, we were 4 wide for 3rd. You see, Siefker gets the big run. Johnston above him, and then there's Kresge and Hill and Camano at 2 different points were 4 wide on the top. And Johnston kind of goes up the racetrack. Kresge trying to hold his line, comes down just a little bit. Ellison nowhere to go. I think Camano just basically shot out of over the wall, it looked like. I mean, he disappeared, but that's kind of what it seemed like. Let's look from Ellison's point of view because he had the best look at it. Johnston there in the Pennzoil machine. Kresge in the Sunset Arctic 777. And Johnston spins right in front of Ellison, and they both go up into Gunter. Camano's been taken out by Kresge there at that point. And again, Dakota DeMade seems like a smart cookie. He's able to go right through there on the bottom.
Watching pit stops here with great scrutiny to make sure that Drew White does everything by the book and to see if he gets penalized again for seemingly nothing.
So seemingly we were wrong about the fuel. Driver's presumably not good.
Maybe not good for an overtime.
That's a good point. We were probably right near the number. So I believe this is going to make 11 cars on the lead lap unless Joshua Rutherford's able to get out here. Watson may be able to get out here as well. They both do,
Watson.
So that'll make 13.
Watson was not involved in the last accident, but he is heavily damaged from the big one earlier. So he was well behind the rest of the field.
But still able to run. He is making up positions as these incidents occur. Poor Paul.
Paul legitimately just asked me if I could clear his meatball flag. He's got 3 wheels. Oh, Lord.
Don't think he's going to make it very far.
All right, well, that leaves Drew White as one of the last bastions of dominance in this race with Kresge out. But Christopher Hill is here. He's won here before. Zach Flaum was leading out of turn 3 on the final lap here in Season 3 and finished in 6th. Dakota DeMade, like you said, got to be feeling pretty smart, but maybe not feeling very safe still. Just barely inside of 20 to go, and the intensity is not really cooling off any. We'll see maybe with some of the folks that have exited this race if maybe the temperature will come down a bit, but I'm not entirely sure it will.
Well, we lost Kresge, who is really chopping it up with White, but we've now inserted DeMade, Siefker. I mean, those are the two that I'm really looking at here that can really get it done and slice and dice here. Siefker is a winner here at Pocono, as is Christopher Hill.
Third driver on that list is Nicholas Isidro, who is not here tonight. Corey Rutherford was also making some moves there under that last restart as well. He's not too far behind. Very few cars left running. We're back underway.
With fewer cars, it may affect the runs that you're able to get near the front as well. So that's something we got to keep our eyes on. We are single file here. First time that's happened, I think, all night.
Well, I wouldn't count on it continuing. Big run here from Flaum. He'll take it. Whitetown to defend.
Man, White really wants to protect that bottom. He goes all the way down to the white line to make sure he is on the bottom into one.
Flaum's got a big run, and he'll get some momentum off the top side here. But Christopher Hill's going to have a big run here as well. The question is, will he take him 3 wide for the lead?
Here comes Siefker around the top side, looking to get to a podium position.
3 wide for second. Watson defending the bottom. Or Watson. How about Drew White? James Watson is now back into the top 5, though. It seems as if the damage has been buffed on this 39, at least for now. And that is good news for his championship hopes, with Christopher Hillier in second and Dakota DeMade right to his inside. $15 to go at the stripe. Drew White has been the dominant force here tonight, but are these drivers lying in wait directly behind?
Love in the middle lane right now.
Can't get the help from Christopher Hill down the stretch here.
He's got help from Siefker here, but Hill now pushing White.
Stolen out of the outside. Nobody can uproot Drew White from the bottom. Hill might not need to, though. He'll pass him and take the bottom from him. How will Drew answer? Big run already for the 15.
White going to try and get back to the bottom here, down Long Pond. He wants to be on the inside here through 2.
I think he's cheating. Can't quite get clear of him, though.
He's got
but he's right back. He's right back where he wants to be. There's Martine. He said he had to go to the hospital. Maybe. I don't know what getting evaporated from existence does to you, but it can't feel particularly good. Here's a big run from Nate Siefker to the top side.
Whoa, Hill, a big wiggle through the middle of turn 1 there.
Yeah, that could have been big trouble if Siefker was right on him.
Waiting for somebody to kind of fake like they're just going to go to the middle like they have on White, but try and dive way down underneath, maybe even the white line to try and uproot him.
Yeah, into the checkered paint down the front stretch.
Absolutely.
Don't think that Drew won't go down there with you to block, and then you'll have a Logano Carl Edwards situation. And that
Really
won't be good for anybody.
A Logano anybody situation. We may have time, but I don't know if we have enough cars.
No, we don't.
We have enough for one, not two.
This is already one of the longest Daredevil Series races ever. We hardly ever broached the 50-minute mark, and we are up at 53 minutes. And we've still got 11 to go. And a potential overtime.
No matter how this one finishes, this has been classic Daredevil.
Yes. Well, I know how Drew White would like it to finish. Ten to go.
Seifker looks to the outside here. Haven't seen that from him in a while. And he's going to clear Christopher Hill and Drew White.
White already charging.
Whoa! Hill
Now Hill
nearly
will
up to the
drop
wall.
down. So White is boxed out.
White going to try and swing underneath Christopher Hill, possibly. Hill is going to protect the bottom. 3 wide into 3.
Hill is where Drew wants to be, not just the lead, but on the bottom. White still with a run. They'll have to take it up top. It's Hill at the line, not by much. Here's Seifker again to the top side. I don't think he's going to get clear of either this time. White still has momentum, trying to get down to the bottom. Will have to take it to the middle.
This is a chess match at 200 miles an hour. Who can get to the bottom?
Zach Flaum into the mix now.
Look at White. He's trying to swing it.
And he really wants down there. He knows it's the place to be. We'll see if he takes it to the paint this time. Big run. No, he'll go outside. Doesn't want to give away his hand too early. These are teammates, by the way. But as the laps continue to wind down, I don't think they're going to be racing like teammates very much. Seifker's in that boat as well.
I mean, if they gang up on Hill and all go to the outside when Hill swings way down to the bottom, they should be able to clear him, but you have to have everybody on the same page, and everybody's looking out for themselves.
White is just going to continue to be aggressive and hope that'll be enough. Here's a big run. Maybe missed time to try and take it to the bottom. But White will have momentum down the front stretch. There's Hill down into the paint. Opening it up for Flaum, who elects not to take it 4 wide. And Hill caught slipping. There's White to the inside. And Drew will be back to where he wants to be, the bottom, the race lead. Seifker 3 wide into the tunnel turn.
Here comes Austin Lafferty into the top 5 here as well, trying to help Seifker.
Could be a huge X factor here late in the race with a 58 looming. He's got no affiliations. He is here to win. He is pushing hard here.
He's
Top
got
line.
Watson there helping. They tried to take it 4 wide. The door closed on him.
There was contact there between Ken Estep and Dakota DeMay. That could have been bad.
DeMade started in 4th on the restart and has been pretty silent here throughout the run.
Well, it's time to make some noise.
White down underneath Hill. He's got help from Flaum.
Five laps to go. Oh, here's Flam to
underneath
the
the
paint.
line.
Flam going for the lead. 4 wide for the lead. That's Siefker up top. Hill, White, Flam. Who gives? Contact. More contact. They all make it through. White takes the lead. Still 3 wide for the lead. Big runs again for Siefker. Flaum as well, but he's boxed in. No 4 wide this time. Well, maybe. 4 to go. Who will put a wheel wrong and really shake this up? Coming to 3 laps to go.
Siefker tucks in behind a Hill and doesn't go high for now. Here comes Ron Watson, pushes Kenny Step nearly up into the wall.
3 wide for first, 3 wide for fourth, 4 wide for the lead. E-Step into Siefker. They make it through. I don't know how. Siefker, after a 4X contact, now back on the outside of 3 wide for the race lead. Oh. Hill, the meat in the sandwich. Right on Drew White here.
Positioning between drivers starting to tighten here. Nobody is giving each other room anymore.
5 miles to go. Can they make it one more lap to finish in regulation? Oh, Watson and E-Step contact.
I think E-Step may have touched the outside wall.
Huge run from
Siefker trying to
Siefker.
get underneath.
He rolls out of it. But did that disrupt Drew White enough? Big run to the outside. Here's Zach Flaum. Can they make it back to the stripe? This is it. 1 to go. Flaum into the paint. 5 wide for the race lead into turn number 1. It's Flaum with the lead. 3 wide now for second. Drew White's going to come back with a big run. Hill has a run here as well. Dakota DeMade is into the mix now. He'll take it 3 wide. Zach Flaum with control on the bottom. Contact! There they go! Siefker makes it through. Watson and Aldrich as well. They will continue to race on as everybody crashes behind them. Out of turn number 3, Watson with a run. Siefker trying to break the toe. At the stripe, it's Nate Siefker back to victory lane. Siefker takes over the lead after the big pileup on the final lap. Watson and Aldrich on the podium. Corey Rutherford, Christian Arribas, and Joshua Rutherford, the 6 drivers to make it through. Hill, White, Flaum, DeMade, Lafferty, and E-Step all involved in a catastrophic final turn. This could be important for the championship. Christopher Hill limping this car across the finish line and will finish in 8th. You never know. Nate Siefker, this is going to be a very popular win. It's popular with us. This man has been through a lot, but he's done a lot for us here on Turn 200 with the Daredevil series. And he gets to celebrate as a winner for the second time in his career here at Pocono.
My goodness.
That is Daredevil victory number 3 for the 2 of Nate Siefker. We got to take a look at it. How did it all go wrong, especially for Zach Flom, who looked like he had that cleared?
I'm just now catching my breath.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Let's go ahead. We're going to... we'll just back it up all the way to the white flag. How about that? I mean, look at this from Flom. All the way into the checkered paint to get underneath of White. They were all fighting for the bottom here. White and Hill pretty much touched wheels there. I don't know how they got through. And then White is going to be pushing Flom down the straight here. Nearly turns him there. And this is where it's all going to go wrong. White kind of splitting a lane between Hill and Flom here. Hill trying to get down to squeeze Flom into 3. Him and White make contact. Hill then gets into the right rear of Flom. And you see, I don't know how Siefker gets through. Let's go to the driver view of Siefker here. As it develops, he sees the contact. Then he sees more contact. Both Hill and Flom come up the racetrack. He jerks it down to the bottom. DeMade was in a good spot there as well, but he gets taken out to the wall. You see the big wreck behind. I mean, Johnston, my goodness. Oh, this may have been Lafferty. I apologize. That is Austin Lafferty that goes for one heck of a ride. Ken Estep there as well. You see Watson squirt through on the bottom. Aldrich squirts through on the bottom. And Watson still had an opportunity here, but he was at a pretty big deficit. Siefker again protects the bottom like everybody else had been here. Siefker gets to the stripe.
So that is another Team Watson Racing sweep. But it's ironically 2 more Team Watson drivers making contact that take out the rest of the field. And 2 different ones at that. So let's give you your full finishing rundown here as it's Nate Siefker with victory number 3 in the Daredevil series. James Watson, the points leader. Big night for him. Big result. He will finish in 2nd. Victor Aldrich then will take a 2nd podium of the season after podiuming, oh my God, at Indianapolis. That one took a lot out of me, I guess. Corey Rutherford will bring home a P4 here tonight, and hard charger, first start of the season, Christian Arribas will finish it in 5th. How about that for the 45? Congrats to him on a career-best Daredevil Series finish. Joshua Rutherford will finish in 6th, so both of the Rutherfords survived for once. It does not happen very often. Austin Lafferty, despite, he died. Let's be clear. He's not alive anymore, but he finished in 7th somehow. Christopher Hill then will limp it home in 8th. Everybody else fails to finish. Drew White in P9. Zach Flom in 10th. Dakota DeMade, boy, that was not what he needed here tonight in the 11th place finish. And almost had it missed as well. Ken Estep will finish in 12th, and Sean Begley was legitimately running 1 lap down at the end, and he finishes in 13th. then it is DNFs from here on out, and it's a pretty long list. From 14th on back, you've got Paul Ellison, Matt Johnston, Martin Camano, Christopher Kresge, Brody Gunter, TJ Crampton, Ryan Dye, Matt Schlosser, Ashton Crowder, Matt Wagner, and Cody Claiborne. That is how they're going to finish up here tonight after a wild race at Pocono. And we will commence straight away then with the podium interviews. And it's Victor Aldrich back up onto the podium with the Daredevil series for the second time this season. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We're back again.
Back again, and I got to be honest, we did not call out your name a whole lot here tonight, but that's a good thing, especially here when we had just 3 absolutely massive incidents. You keep yourself clean. 0x here tonight. I think you're the only one. You're the only one, actually. So, I mean, how did you do it? How did you put yourself in a position to survive all night?
Yeah, so with qualifying, I didn't really necessarily want to go for pole. I knew a few guys would be up at the front, and I knew staying at the front would be a little more difficult just with the pack racing that I was anticipating. I think the last time we were here, we got a little bit more strung out, and we had a few cars break away even. So knowing it was going to be a pack race, I just kind of, again, bided my time, just like Indianapolis. I just rode at the back. Nate was back there with me. Dakota dropped back about halfway through that first run. And so we were just kind of riding with each other there, and had good people to ride along with. And I wasn't concerned about any, incidents back there. I knew they were good drivers and I trusted them. And after the first couple wrecks, I knew I was in a good position. I was sitting in the top 10 suddenly, so that was cool. And, after that, it was just avoiding the wreck on the last lap, which I knew was inevitable, and keep my foot in it and try to get that run off of turn 3. But, came up a little short, but still, again, another TWR 1, 2, 3. I, again, couldn't be happier. So,
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, congrats on a great race run here. Obviously, having to stay away from the carnage. It was not easy here tonight. Was there any way you were going to be able to get a run there? It was kind of crazy watching everybody try and dive to the bottom on each other. Just seems like that was the big run you got out of 3.
Yeah, if everybody stayed clean on the last lap, I feel like I did have a good run on the inside. It kind of bogged my momentum down a bit off of turn 1. But I was able to stay behind James, and he had a good run because there was a pretty big gap between him and the next car in front of him. And just getting that run down the back stretch and being on the inside is so important here in Daredevil. Like, I feel like being on the outside is just a death sentence. And so it's just be on the inside, go to the grass if you need to, and avoid that outside wall because everybody's going up there. And I feel like I'm just kind of getting a good feel, though, for these larger tracks, like Indy, Pocono, and maybe Auto Club, like things like that. Just really finding my feel and biding my time, like I said, being patient and waiting for my time to strike. And I may have been able to get a top 5 had everybody not wrecked, but very happy to get another podium, obviously.
Absolutely. Congrats on another one. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out?
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'd like to thank you here at Turn 200. Again, amazing broadcast. I love what you guys do, and watching all your races that you put on every week. It's always fun to watch and tune in for. Big thanks to TWR, Team Watson Racing Setups. Congrats to Nate Siefker and James Watson. Very happy for them getting first and second. Big day for us. Thanks to all my teammates at TWR, Chris Hill, Drew White, Matt Johnston, TJ Crampton, Matt Wagner. I know we have quite a few more out there, but Martin Sports, National Racing Network, Main and Tail. Had that Chevy Power tonight, so I think that's kind of what also helped. And also like to thank my girlfriend, my mom, my dog, and dedicate this again to my brother, Jeff. I know he's not with us, but we're going to get that first win sometime soon. And if not this year, I know it's coming next year.
Absolutely. You're knocking on the door here. It's only a matter of time. Thanks for the time here, and congrats on another podium.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll pull up your points leader. And boy, it looked in question a couple of times here tonight, but Watson will slip through the carnage there at the end and bring home a P2. Congrats. After the big one there, did you think that this was in the cards tonight?
No, not in the slightest. I had some pretty significant damage with that from the wreck, and I couldn't even, I was having to lift off in the turn like I was in an Indy car in the dirty air. And I was not able to stay in touch with anyone, so I had no idea that even if we got another caution and I was able to get all my damage fixed. I didn't think that the car still had this much pace left in it.
But and ended up doing it. I mean, how much damage did you have to fix there? I mean, you almost made it through there with just a dip through the grass, but then took a pretty hard shot there to the right side tub. How much time did it take to fix that?
I had 35 seconds of required and 2 minutes and 20 seconds of optionals, and I was only able to get half the required and half of the optional done when I came down pit road after the wreck. So I knew that I had some damage to fix, and I would hopefully get some pace back, but I didn't think that the crew would be able to restore it back to that. Like I couldn't do anything like I couldn't really pull out to pass because I still had enough wing damage to where it was just a parachute on my own, but I still had enough enough pace left in it to where I could fully keep up in the draft and make moves that way just fine.
Matt, what you got?
Well, congrats on a good finish here. Like you said, it didn't look like it was in the cards for you, but talk to me about wreck avoidance. It was big here tonight. You weren't quite able to avoid the first one, but you stuck with it and were able to avoid the very big one there right on the very last lap. I mean, what did you see out of the windshield?
I just knew with how everyone was racing that something was going to happen, and the first wreck I wanted to be more aggressive because like that's what irritated me about Indy was I was trying to play it safe and I still got wrecked, so I wanted to be a little more aggressive, but I still ended up backing off because I knew that they were racing like unbelievably hard and it was still kind of hard to make passes, so I knew that the likelihood of me getting involved in anything up there was very high. So, that's what I did, and it almost worked. And then the second one, I was pushing as hard as I could. I couldn't do a whole lot because I lost a lot of momentum off of turn one. Because I still had some damage at times where it was hard to get the car to rotate, like I had to lid off, and so that was really holding me back from making further moves, and that kind of reared its ugly head on the last lap. So I lost a lot of positions, and I was just hoping something would happen to allow me to get all that back, and that something sure happened.
It definitely did. And as much as you hate to see it, it was a good night for you in the points with Christopher Hill having problems. Dakota was kind of in a must-win here tonight with him having to miss Spa next week. But after it looked maybe to be in jeopardy, your closest contenders all bit the dust here tonight, truthfully.
Yeah, and it was important to maximize the results. Because Spa, my absolute ceiling is gonna be like P3. Because like I know I'm not beating Chris. I know I'm not beating Brody. So I know that I'm guaranteed to lose points to those two next week. So it was all about trying to gain where I knew I could. Because like I don't know how Gateway's gonna go because. I'm only good there in an Indy Pro 2000. Anything else, and it's a struggle. So I don't want to leave that much of a wild card rearing its ugly head there. I want to have as much of a cushion as I can heading into that final race.
Well, great job here tonight. Way to endure and persevere. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out?
Yeah, I gotta thank everyone at Team Watson Racing Setups. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off at checkout. I gotta thank Chris Graham of the National Racing Network, ZAS Designs, and Dizzy V Designs for putting together my paint schemes. Boomer Button Boxes, Martin Sports, Sim Racing Apparel, and my folks for watching at home.
Congrats on the P2. Congrats on maintaining the points lead and extending it. And we'll hopefully talk to you again next week at Spa.
Here's hoping.
All righty. It's time to talk to Nate Seifker as a race winner once again here on Turn 200. Wow. What a race and what a finish. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a heck of a run tonight. Very interesting. Good to me to watch back that race. Basically just rode around for a lot of the race and then decided to play with around 20 to go and had fun playing for those 20 laps and somehow came away with the victory. So I'll take it.
Yeah, as soon as you started to play around there, you kept finding yourself on the outside of 3 wide, a couple times on the outside of 4 wide, one time on the outside of 5 wide. Had to be some nerve-wracking, that entire run to the checkers really just had to be pretty eye-widening to be in the cockpit of the car.
Yeah, it wasn't very comforting. And, you one touch elsewhere, you're done. As we saw that last lap crash there. So basically it's a little touch and go here and there. I did actually miss a shift once, and I did make contact with somebody with that last stint there. I'm lucky that, we didn't cause a big wreck with about 7 or so to go. So that was a plus. Almost sent Drew through the woods there on the backstretch there with 2 to go. And somehow sneaked through that there at the end. So he clipped me. Drew did as he was coming by. I just watched back your guys' clip of me in the cockpit of my car on the broadcast. He actually touched the left rear, and that's what jerked the car down. So I didn't do that. That was the contact that did that. So thankful it wasn't very hard. Thankful, we were able to keep it straight and somehow Moses our way through that.
Matt, what do you got for the race winner?
Well, congrats on the huge race win here. You finally got one with Tommy Cook in the booth, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. That's the best part about that now that I realize that. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Tommy finally got to witness one, but I mean, after everything you've been through, and you've been here back in the Daredevil series this entire season. I mean, how does it feel to finally get another one?
I think this is I might be wrong, but I think this is my first win. I've had podium since I've been back since April, but I think this is my first win in a league setting since April. So that's pretty cool. To be able to do that, this track isn't, physically demanding. I don't think there's any limitation with my shoulder tonight. So, I mean, that's fine and everything, but it's good to know that, I didn't lose all my ability to drive in the, how much time I took off. So it's good to know that. It's good to get back into the things, get back to, feeling how it is to win a race finally again.
Absolutely. Big win here tonight. Congratulations. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out?
I want to thank you to you guys. You guys are great up here in the booth. You guys do a fantastic job for everyone and everything with that. So thank you for putting us on. Thank you to all the teammates as well. I got too many to count, so we'll just say teammates at TWR. And thank everyone who I raced tonight. That was pretty fun as well. So I'm pleased to be here. I'm pleased to come back.
Well, we're pleased to have you as a race winner here for the 3rd time at Booth 200. I'm always very excited to get you up here, whether it's a podium or a win. Keep the wins coming. We'll hopefully talk to you again next week or at Gateway as well. But go celebrate a hard-fought P1 here tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
So, yeah, Seifker, a winner for the 2nd time here at Pocono. That 3rd win came at Michigan, I believe back in Season 3, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, big night for Nate Seifker, the win. Big night for Team Watson Racing. Not that we keep track of team points, but they get a 2nd podium sweep on the season. And Victor Aldrich with a 2nd podium as well. He was in that other sweep at Indianapolis. And I think maybe most importantly, other than the race win for Nate Seifker, James Watson extending the points lead here tonight. And don't want to call it good because it's not. Anything could happen in the next 2 weeks. But certainly this goes a long way in helping. Matt, it started interesting with the technical difficulties, and that was over an hour and a half ago at this point. But a wild race through and through. One of the craziest we've had in the Daredevil series.
technical difficulties completely forgotten at this point. I mean, that was a special race here in the Daredevil series. That is one of the quintessential races in the entire series history right there. And I mean, for me personally, to cap it off with a Seifker win, what he said is he thinks is his first league-setting win since coming back from the unfortunate injury. I really don't know how to put that one into words. All I can say is thank you to everybody that was here to support Nate in that time. Many of the people that were here in this race were there, as well as many were here in the chat, were there for him as well. So it's pretty cool for it to all come full circle and for Nate to finally get that win after all of that. I mean, that is unbelievably special, and a special way to cap off a very special race here to begin with. So thank you to everybody that was watching here tonight. Had so many folks in the chat with us. Don Goldman was here all night. Kyle Zittle, Charles Grove, Garrett Rainey, the Rain Man, Pokey Saiyanmon. I'm not sure who that is, but thank you for tuning in as well. TJ Crampton was here, unfortunately, after the big one. Martin Camano was here as well after he got shot out of turn number 1. Sebastian was here cheering on Martin. Thank you for tuning in. Ashton Crowder, after he was upside down, was here as well. And then, of course, Joshua Rutherford on 2 different accounts earlier here, too. I believe that is everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. But thank you so much for chatting with us and tuning in here tonight. I don't even have to say I hope you enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed that one. That one was unbelievable. And thank you for all of the support, as always. And we got one more thing coming up for you this week.
Absolutely. Tomorrow night, it is Atlanta for the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Catch us at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time for the playoff opener. First time we've ever had a postseason format on the channel. I know the Venom Truck Series is getting ready to have one, but Max V will be the first. They beat him to it by a couple weeks. So, postseason opener tomorrow night at Atlanta for Max V. Then catch us again back next Tuesday with the Venom Truck Series. They will be live from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, and what will be a very interesting short track race there with the new short track rules in place. Should be an interesting time, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. And then catch us next week from Spa-Francorchamps for the first time in series history. That'll be next Wednesday night with the Daredevil series at the usual 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. We'll hope to catch you there. Thank you very much to the drivers for all coming out and giving it their best here tonight. Everybody laid it out on the line there. That was still running at the end of the race. Greatly appreciate everybody. But that is all we got for you here tonight. Thank you to the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. But until we meet again from Legacy Pocono Raceway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long and big congratulations to Nate Seifker on Daredevil Series victory number 3.